Hi guys, smooth flight here, October 18th, Saturday around 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. Wanted to just briefly check in on the aviationweather.gov map and tie back to what we talked about yesterday and the warnings I flagged for you. If you're a first time listener and viewer, what I'm trying to do with this new channel, Smooth Flight, is give you guys advance warning of where to expect turbulence in the days and a week ahead for your flights, and therefore empower you with that information and let you adjust potentially your flight routings, your schedule, the timing of departure, etc. If you are a flyer that hates turbulence and wants to avoid situations where there may be turbulence and is looking for a smoother flight experience. So um, today and yesterday of what I flagged, perfect example of the information I'm trying to give you guys here to get ahead of some challenging weather and turbulence conditions. Yesterday I flagged a corridor um, going north to south. I'll show you here on the weather map. Um, it was going from the Midwest down to Texas. They're looking at various thunderstorms, even some tornado cells. But this whole region, kind of center chunk of the country, I was really worried about flights being bumpy there, whether that be Detroit, Chicago, Minnesota, even Northeast areas going down to the through the Great Plains, or cutting through the Great Plains, or especially down into Texas, Dallas in particular, Houston a little bit less, but Dallas in particular, let alone all these other areas that you see shaded here, Arkansas and stuff. So it's flagging if you want to fly today, if you have a direct flight from one of those cities out to Texas, you want to head out early in the morning, or you want to delay your flight till Sunday. Let's see exactly what's going on today. And unfortunately, it is what I'm seeing is the worst scenario. You can see the turbulence report here. Tons of moderate turbulence reports in Texas, Colorado, which I had flagged, and through this storm area, you see things lit up. Unfortunately, we also see a severe turbulence down here. You can see it reported at 34,000. I'm going to go here, and when I clicked into the aviationweather.gov map, just to show you what these urgent pilot reports say. So you click here, it shows you an Embraer 75, which is an Embraer 175 or regional jet that some of the US mainline carriers will have their partners who fly the smaller jets fly these routes for them. Unfortunately, the passengers were put into a very difficult situation today. At 34,000 feet, this plane experienced moderate to severe turbulence. Severe turbulence is a type of event that if you don't like turbulence, this is going to be potentially psychologically life changing in terms of when you fly going forward. Severe turbulence is really bad. Many pilots don't ever experience it once in their career. These people on this airplane today did experience moderate to severe turbulence. Very unfortunate. They're in a storm area where storms are going up to 45,000 feet. Other reports of moderate turbulence throughout the region. So it is unfortunate. It's what I worried about. I pulled up some flights from today just to show you examples of what some pilots did to get around. So you can see United, Orlando to Houston, a bunch of different flights today. A bunch arrived late due to the storm. I can show you what one pilot did today. He or she, excuse me, decided to go around the storm the best they could. Fortunately, though, you still can run into a lot of turbulence in these situations. I'll give you an example of what I like to do. I pull up the track log here on flightaware.com when I look up a particular flight, and I pull up the track log. And I sometimes find that, I mean, there's the context of knowing there's storms in the area, but you kind of go down and you see the altitude this aircraft flew at. Look at the volatility of the rate of altitude of the aircraft. Usually you see 25 plus or minus, aircraft going very little up and down. That's just kind of normal flying, or maybe even very light turbulence. But you see instances here where, you see upwards of 100 feet down, up 50, down 50, and so on. So, this wasn't the smoothest ride for sure. You can see the pilots trying to fly different altitude. Point being here simply to say that the pilots did their best to work around the turbulence. They have to fulfill their duty. They have to get people from A to B. That's their job, and that's the airline's mission. But it was likely a turbulent flight, let alone others that went more through the storm area. I'm going to pull up another one I looked at, Detroit to Dallas. Here's a great example. I flagged that if you need to take a direct flight and you don't, or you can't, change your flight to go through Atlanta or to go through Florida, kind of get around the storm and then go back through Texas. If you really need from the Midwest to go direct, I was recommending you fly really early today on October 18th. So you can see here, there was a flight that went out from Detroit to Dallas today that arrived on time. Not sure how smooth it was, but earlier in the day there were less storms. But look at this one, guys. 12:30 p.m. We had a diversion. A flight was diverted because of weather. Not a fun experience for a passenger. Normal can be a normal experience, but again, this site is geared toward people who have that fear, a little bit of fear of flying, but in particular, more that fear of turbulence, just hate that feeling of turbulence. A lot of us know that nothing will actually happen in terms of the plane won't crash. But it's not that. That's not the point. The point is not to feel uncomfortable or not to potentially be injured, which can happen in a severe turbulence episode. But this is more about avoiding that discomfort and that stress and that nervousness around turbulence. This flight today, Detroit to Houston, diverted. Detroit to Dallas, excuse me, diverted. And I'll show you what happened. You can see here, it was skirting the areas of the storm, but they tried to move around it. So probably less bumps here than if they had cut through closer to the storm. But they couldn't land Dallas. They circled, probably anxiety inducing for a lot of passengers, and they had to divert to Houston eventually. So just a tough day of flying overall. Um, Tomorrow, unfortunately, is looking choppy as well in different parts of the country. The Western Plains, the upper North Pacific Northwest, Colorado as well. This area today, though, was tough, does improve, but that storm that happened today pushes out east. Monday, a little bit better conditions, I think, for flying on Monday than on Sunday, although around New York and Pennsylvania, you are going to see a low pressure trough kick in here. So there's going to be some bumpier and windier flights. So a few things that you need to think about there. And also, I pulled up the clear air turbulence forecast charts for tomorrow. In the southeast, you do see cruising some turbulence down around the Alabama area, western Florida. So something that your pilots will certainly be mindful of. But look, I just wanted to flag more today around the occurrences of turbulence and what happened and tie back into my video from yesterday. This is the kind of stuff that I'm hoping to give you guys, really just information. I just want to help you. I want you to be aware of what weather to expect, and therefore you feel empowered to get ahead of it. Try to change your flight and try to have a smoother flight experience. So that's all for Saturday, October the 18th. Catch you guys very soon. Take care.